let's discuss the interview between Donald Trump and Laura Ingraham. We'll actually do 2 segments on this. This first one will be covering most of the clips from it, and one of the things that was noticeable, as you're going to observe, is sort of as the presidential race reshapes itself, because now it's Vice President Harris versus Trump instead of Biden versus Trump, you have one issue that has really changed in how discussions about it benefit or harm either side. The age conversation, as Republicans really wanted to bring to the forefront of the race when Biden was in it, the brain functioning conversation is now fully focusing on Donald Trump for good reason, because his competitor is younger, is sharper, etc. And his brain crumbling is observed in speeches, as we talk about in interviews, and definitely made itself present here, just with how discombobulated he was and how frantic and detached his thoughts are as he's trying to express them. So take note of that as we go through the substance of these different clips. First, he gets asked here about his vice presidential running mate, J.D. Vance, who has gotten the campaign into some trouble, as we've been covering, with this childless cat lady remark and his disparaging of people, as I'll have a new clip for you to show in this segment related to it, of people who choose not to or can't have children, and J.D. Vance's rhetoric generally that's come to surface since being selected as Trump's running mate has been getting the campaign to trouble. So with that in mind, Laura Ingraham asks, what can you say to reassure your voters that he's the right pick?
Knee-jerk, conservative, et cetera, et cetera. But some of it's coming from Republicans who I think want to go back to the days of open borders and perpetual war. How do you expect to use him in this campaign, and what can you say to our viewers tonight to reassure them that this was an excellent pick?
Well, first of all, he's got tremendous support, and he really does among a certain group of people that like families. I mean, he made a statement having to do with families. That doesn't mean that people that aren't a member of a big and beautiful family with 400 children around and everything else, it doesn't mean that a person he's not against anything, but he loves family. It's very important to him. He grew up in a very interesting family situation. He feels family is good. And I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that.
He's very uncomfortable. This is, if you're not familiar, uncomfortable Trump when he's jumping around this much, because he knows this has become a political liability, where, as I said before, it's not about being for families. We're for families over here in our movement. That's why we advocate on behalf of so many policies that uplift them. It's about being vitriolic towards certain groups of people who happen to not have children. And that's what we're hearing from J.D. Vance. Uplift people without pushing down people. But MAGA can't get their mind around that. And, oh, goodness gracious, Trump not able to answer for that. And then it continues here.
To women out there watching who may not have kids.
I think they understand it. No, I think they understand it. The Democrats are good at spinning things differently from what they were. All he said is he does like, for him, he likes family. I think a lot of people like family, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And you know why? You don't meet the right person, or you don't meet any person, but you're just as good, in many cases a lot better than a person that's in a family situation.
The way Trump speaks often is sort of the throwing, what's the phrase? Is it throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks? Whatever the phrase is, throwing a bunch at the wall, seeing what sticks, and thinking if I can say a bunch of different things that may contradict, listen, he loves family, or he doesn't. A lot of people love family, or you don't. It's good to have a family, or it's not. Some people are better off without it. And having a hard time just concisely articulating himself. And also, I wanted to mention the thing I was trying to think of a second ago with the first clip, was him saying J.D. Vance is very popular. And then even he has to go, well, among a certain group of people. Yeah, maybe you're uber base, but we looked at the polling on J.D. Vance, and he's making history for how unpopular he is as a running mate. Normally, after a party's convention, the running mate is popular because they've not really been introduced to the American people other than through what is sort of a propaganda event, which is pushing out a that party's message sort of time. And normally you ride the wave of that, the candidate and the running mate, into popularity for some time. But JD Vance is still in the negatives in his favorability rating. Quick pause from your viewing of this video to request that if you're not already, you would click that subscribe button. Easy, free, but it makes a huge difference. Back to the video. Before going further, here's the most recent newly surfaced video of JD Vance.
Right, there's just these basic cadences of life that I think are really powerful.
Look at that hair. Was he already wearing eyeliner this long ago? Goodness.
Right, there's just these basic cadences of life that I think are really powerful and really valuable when you have kids in your life. And the fact that so many people, especially in America's leadership class, just don't have that in their lives, you know, I worry that it makes people more sociopathic and ultimately our whole country a little bit less less mentally stable. And of course, you talk about going on Twitter. Final point I'll make is,
yeah, he more, oh my gosh, more sociopathic. And I do want to play one other thing for you. Hopefully I can guess the correct part of this clip where it comes in. Pete Buttigieg addressed this on The Daily Show yesterday.
Things he said, but the policy ideas behind them. Like, he has this idea that you should get extra votes if you have kids.
Extra votes?
Yeah, he suggested that you should have extra votes if you're a parent.
Really?
Now, I think there's lots of things.
You don't even get that in your own house. I'm a parent. You don't get anything.
True, I'm starting to find that. I mean, ours are not yet 3, but and it's rooted in this strange idea that it's not just. He doesn't just say that being a parent gives you, you know, an important role as a citizen, which I agree with, or that it gives you unique perspective on the future. It's that not being a parent makes you less. Like
I think that's absolutely how I feel.
He said, people who don't have children, this is a quote, have no physical commitment to the future of this country.
Wow.
And I just think about how, like, no physical commitment to the future. Like, when I was deployed to Afghanistan, I didn't have kids back then.
Right.
But I will tell you, especially when there was a rocket attack going on, my commitment to this country felt pretty physical.
Exactly right. So we'll just continue to say, because I'm trying to teach MAGA. I'm trying to be here for you and express why people are outraged at you. You can be for things, for ideas, for concepts without expressing that stance through your opposition and vitriol for some other thing. Let's invest in policies that uplift families and invest in policies that uplift all people, including those who haven't had children. But then we move on to this. I understand this is premised on a very serious subject, which is the horrible assassination attempt against Trump. So that's not what I'm going to be joking about, to be clear. He gets into Melania and says something about how she likes him or loves him, maybe just likes him, that is very interesting.
What was Melania's reaction, if you don't mind my asking? I know this is very personal, when she learned about what happened on that field in Butler?
She was watching.
Oh, she was watching in real time?
She was watching live. It was all over the place. It was on television. It was on your network, but it was all over the place. And she was watching. I asked her that. I mean, I wasn't there. I was on the ground. And when the world started to, like, you could talk to people, I said, so what was your feeling? And she can't really even talk about it.
Traumatized.
Which is okay, because that means she likes me.
No, she
loves me.
That's good.
I mean, let's say she could talk about it freely. That wouldn't be, I'm not so sure which is better. But she either likes or loves me, and that's nice. But I will say that
I have met a lot of happy, loving couples in my life. My parents being one of them. I've never heard one of them say she/he likes or loves me. And that's great. What did he say?
But She either likes or loves me, and that's nice. But
And that's nice. She either likes or loves me, and that's nice, I guess. Woo. But that is a sensitive topic, so we'll move on from it. Wow. Then he can't get out of his own head for long enough to realize maybe Biden doesn't have the same warped view of our Constitution as he does. And he expresses how he doesn't understand or doesn't believe that Biden would actually want to roll back the immunity ruling that placed the president above the law because of a case that Trump brought.
A big news today is President Biden announcing reforms to the Supreme Court, which include not allowing immunity for presidents and also new ethics rules. Now, a lot of us who used to clerk at the court believe that that's just a naked attempt to start knocking off conservative justices.
It is.
They didn't even consult Dick Durbin or the Senate Judiciary Committee on any aspect of this. What does this mean to you, what Biden is?
Well, it's a typical Biden con. He doesn't want to give up immunity because if he didn't have immunity, look at all the things he did. The $3.5 million from Russia, all the money he's taken in from China.
Which is zero.
All of the bad things and the evil things he's done, not to mention that thousands of people killed in the border. Look at the Afghanistan pullout with the worst, most embarrassing day in the history of our country. All of the things he's done that are so bad, he desperately wants immunity. There's no way he would write off immunity for a president.
But this is it.
Isn't that so fascinating? Biden's actively trying and wanting to roll back by enshrining federal law through Congress, and then he would sign into law the opposite ruling of what the Supreme Court ruled, which of course Congress would have the ability to do, which is saying by law now presidents aren't above the law, which is a crazy thing that we would have to do. But the Supreme Court, in their Trump immunity ruling, did seem to indicate that in the official powers of the president, they can't be criminally prosecuted. And so Biden actively trying to make sure the president is subjected to the same laws as everyone else. Trump saying, no. This is a con. He doesn't actually want to do that. He wants to be immune because otherwise, as Trump says it, you wouldn't be able to even be president. No, but see, that's about you, dude. That's your problem. You can't imagine being president without falling over and tripping over a bunch of crimes. Biden doesn't have that problem. That's a big difference between the two of you. Then he attacks Vice President Kamala Harris and does so in the weakest way imaginable.
She got rid of the laugh. I noticed I haven't seen that crazy laugh that she got. She's crazy. That laugh, that's the laugh of a crazy person. But I noticed that she's not using that laugh anymore. Somebody convinced her, don't laugh. Just don't laugh. Don't laugh under any circumstances because
I like laughter, but sometimes.
Not her laughter.
And then Laura Ingraham, stop. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that, to be clear. Now I'm talking at you. I was imitating Laura Ingraham. That was an abrupt shift, I could tell. But I've talked with people, aside from the MAGA base, almost everyone's just thinking, why are they so obsessed with that? I think it's great when she's laughing. And Trump saying that it must be a strategy that she's not laughing as much is false because if you watch her events, she'll laugh at them. Can you imagine? And it did come to my mind, have you ever seen Trump laugh? Not smile, not, but really laugh, belly laugh. The only time I've seen him happy enough to laugh out loud, where he really could let out a laugh, is in that video where he's hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. Moving on. Then you have him on the subject of debating Vice President Harris saying this.
I want to do a debate, but I also can say this. Everybody knows who I am, and now people know who she is. She's a radical left lunatic. She'll destroy our country. She wants open borders.
And why not debate her?
Well, wait. But because they already know everything.
Because they already know everything. But then he does seem to say maybe he will debate her.
And I say this. The answer is yes, I'll probably end up debating. I think actually the debate should take place before the votes start being cast.
Sure, do it now. He's terrified, just so you know, of debating her. And one more Kamala Harris moment.
Years old, a lot of people, I didn't realize she was 60. I thought she was a little younger, but she's 60. She is talking a big game, but her game is pretty bad. I mean, she was the border czar. She's trying to pretend that she wasn't. You know, it's an amazing thing that's happened too, because we talk about years old.
Yeah, and we addressed the borders as our talking point already. I'll leave it there. I know that went pretty long. Let me know what you thought of that segment in the comments. And if you want to get extra content daily, you can do so by clicking the join button below.